Thanks everyone for coming out to hear about P2 Gold. Start things off, I'll just run through. I will be making forward-looking statements throughout this presentation. Well, what we like to say is there are three reasons why you should consider an investment in P2 Gold: management, our project, and our alignment with shareholders. Taking a look at management first, we've worked together as a team for a long time, maybe too long. We've built up a number of companies: Silver Standard Resources, Camplats Resources, Pretium Resources. I guess our most recent claim to fame is we are responsible for the discovery and the building of the Bruce Jack mine up in the Golden Triangle, from discovery to commercial production in under 8 years. So we know how to deliver on what we say we're going to do. Taking a look at our projects, our real focus is down in Nevada. We have a project up in the Golden Triangle as well. We've worked around the world, and we're big focus now for us is jurisdiction. We believe mining in safe jurisdictions is the way to go. You just saw what happened down in Panama to First Quantum. So we're sticking with BC and Nevada. It's jurisdictions we know, and they're safe. So taking a look at our GABS project first, we picked this up in spring of 2021. We picked it up for two reasons. It has a nice solid resource and great infrastructure. After working for years up in the Triangle and down in the Andes, it's nice to have roads, paved roads everywhere. We can drive to our project on a paved road. If you look at the map, that road that runs through GABS down through the project, that's paved. We've got a well-maintained road right through the center of the property, roads everywhere, no need for helicopters. And we have historical water wells permitted on the property, so we just have to reactivate those water wells. So lots of infrastructure and just a great place to build a mine. Taking a look, we announced a PEA back in September of last year. Pretty good economics. Decent size gold copper producer. Lots of room for optimization on this study. That's the next thing we're going to do. We believe we can get that lower case down, maybe drop it by 50 to 100 bucks an ounce, drop copper down by 25, 30 cents, and still have a better rate of return than we currently have. So lots of room for optimization. We believe GABS is going to be a mine. Taking a look at production, almost a couple million ounces are produced over roughly a 14-year mine life. Average annual production, 139,000 ounces a year, gold and copper. We feel with some optimization, we can get up to that 150,000 to 175,000 ounce a year range. So a nice sort of mid-tier size gold copper producer. Fairly simple flow sheet. We're open pit mine, so nice and simple, nothing new. Just take it 3-stage crushing, and then heap leach to start with for the first 5-6 years of the project. I think the real game changer for GABS, it's been around for a while. It was explored in the 80s, early 90s. All of that work was done before they came up with the invented, created, developed, however you want to look at it, the SART plant, which allows you to recycle the cyanide. And so you're not chewing up all your cyanide with the copper in the deposit. And that's what makes the deposit economic today when it wasn't economic, say, in the 80s and early 90s. So with that SART plant, we can actually get a nice positive rate of return out of GABS. So that's the first 5 years of production. We're open pit, heap leach. In years 6 through 14, the next 8.4 years, we're looking at a milling operation where we'll campaign the sulfides through flotation concentrate, good old conventional technology, and then we'll still run the oxide through the mill, use the SART plant, and leach the tails from the sulfides, and that will allow us to increase the gold production. So fairly simple circuit. The only thing that's new is a SART plant, and they've been in production for, I think the first ones came out mid-90s. So they've been around for a while as well, maybe 30 years now. So nothing untoward, fairly tried and true technology. Here's our CapEx. You can see first stage of CapEx, just under $300 million. As I mentioned, we'll start off with a heap leach. That payback on that 277 is roughly 2 to 3 years. We then start banking the cash. Year 6, we start construction of the mill. And between cash we bank from heap leach And production, while we've got the mill under construction, you're going to see us pay out that mill with just cash flow. So really, the only CapEx involved here is that initial $277 million for construction. Costs, fairly good costs. You can see our all-in sustaining costs are $11.26, and that's using, at the time we released the study, gold was 19 and change, and copper was 373. So when you do see that all-in sustaining cost, that's taking into account the byproduct credit from copper, so we can net that off against our costs. As you see copper move up, you're going to see our AISC drop. And so in today's world, you see $1,500 an ounce all-in sustaining costs is getting to be fairly average for the big producers. So down in the $1,100, $1,000 range, it really is going to make GABs quite profitable. Lots of room for optimization. We were a little rushed in getting this study out, so we want to get back to it. I think you'll probably see by middle of this year an updated preliminary economic assessment completed where we optimize the oxidized gold production, maybe increase the tonnage through the mill in the through the heap leach in the early years. So we have some work to do there, but we think, as I mentioned early on, we think we can get that get a good rate of return and drop that gold price down to about $1,700, $1,750 an ounce. So for today's world, that's a lot of margin. And then here's our resource, currently about 2.4 million ounces, about half of that's in the indicated category. If we look at our preliminary economic assessment, we're about 40 to 50% in the indicated category within that assessment. And so we will need to do some infill drilling to bring that inferred up and get it in the study. 4 zones of mineralization, you can see there on the lower right. All of them are open on strike and at depth. We feel, ballpark arm waving that we can see about 4 million ounces gold equivalent at surface. And so you're looking probably about a 20-year mine life just with that surface mineralization producing north of 150,000 ounces gold equivalent a year. So a nice size mine with a long life. Lots of potential, as I mentioned, to expand surface mineralization. 3 of the zones of mineralization we have are porphyry mineralization, so gold, copper, porphyry. And there is sitting at depth somewhere on that property, we feel, a large porphyry feeding that surface mineralization. We haven't had the ability to explore for that yet, and in time we will do that. So if we can find the porphyry on the property, that's an even longer life mine and a bigger operation. But for now, we'll focus on moving the PEA along, and we'd like to get in feasibility study later on this year. So this is what it looks like. You can see there's the pole line road right through the middle of the deposit. Great place to work. You don't need a helicopter. You can drive everywhere. Low cost. I think we were drilling for about 175 US a meter, all in on our last drill campaign with an RC drill. There's the 4 zones of mineralization. As you can see, the top 3, Lucky Strike, Sullivan, Gold Ledge, are all gold, copper, porphyry. Carbody's a low sulfidation epithermal gold deposit, about 100,000 ounces at a gram. So a nice little deposit, but the real focus is that gold, copper, porphyry mineralization. Here's a bit of geophysics. We feel that the porphyry feeding this is just to the right of that gold ledge deposit you see in the middle of the property. We'll be testing that in the future, but as I say, for now, the big push is on getting that PA updated and then launching into feasibility study. So here's our path to production. We feel we can be in production 2028. It's aggressive, but we took Bruce Jack from a hole in the ground, from our first drill hole to commercial production in a remote area of the province in under 8 years. So in Nevada, we think we can push this ahead a lot quicker. Quickly, our BAM project, I've got 40 seconds here. We're up in the heart of the Golden Triangle. We're just off from Shaft Creek, Galore Creek. Red Chris is up to the northeast of us. So we're sitting amongst a bunch of big gold, copper porphyries. We found a lot of surface gold mineralization, copper mineralization. What we need to do is do the work to trace that back to the source where the porphyry is. A lot of work to do there yet. No plans to drill it this year within the current market, but lots of potential up at BAM for big gold, copper porphyry. I'll just jump through here. That's what BAM looks like. Great place to work as well. When you consider the triangle, we're not hanging off any cliffs. And there's our issued and outstanding and our alignment with shareholders. Management owns almost 22% of the stock. So time's up. Thank you very much.